Be not alarmed, madam, on receiving this letter. I will not repeat any of your sentiments or offers which last night were so disgusting to me. I hope you will pardon the freedom with which I demand your attention. Your feelings, I know, bestowed it willingly, but I demand it of your justice. You have laid 2 counts against me, and I will defend myself. The first, I have separated your sister from Mr. Bingley. I do not deny it. It pains me to say that your family's want for fortune and connection was secondary in my mind to its total lack of decorum. And your sister Jane, while perfectly pleasant towards Bingley, showed no outer signs of being in love. You have convinced me that I was mistaken in this, and your resentment has not been unreasonable. It was never my intention to cause injury to your sister, merely to save my friend from embarrassment. I should not have interfered, and I am sorry. But I offer no apology in connection with your friend Mr. Wickham and his tale of woe. My father left him a living in his will in the church, but Mr. Wickham refused to take orders, and on his own suggestion, I agreed to pay him a sum of £3,000 to resign his claim to a living. He returned within weeks, having spent the money. He wished to take up a living after all, which I had given elsewhere. When he asked for more money, I ended our acquaintance. Since that time, Mr. Wickham has done all in his power to defame both myself and the name of Darcy, but there is more, and because I respect you, I will withhold nothing. Last summer, Mr. Wickham attempted to elope with my sister Georgiana, who was but 15 at the time. His chief object was my sister's fortune, but it is equally clear that he was set on revenge upon me. Had he succeeded, his revenge would indeed have been complete. This has been a faithful narrative of every event in which we have been concerned today, and if you do not absolutely reject this false sight, I hope you will acquit me of any cruelty towards Mr. Wickham. I only add, God bless you. Fitzwilliam Darcy.
I am glad to find that Mr. Darcy is not as bad as I feared. To discover that Mr. Wickham is so very bad, it is almost past belief.
How shamefully I acted. So proud of my own quick judgment of character.
Listen, isn't it lovely?
Had I been in love, I could not have been more wretchedly blind.
I never thought poor Mr. Darcy so deficient as he used to.
And yet I meant to be uncommonly clever in taking so decided a dislike to him upon first sight.
Oh, but poor Mr. Wickham. Gentleness and openness in his manner, and such goodness in his face.
Really, Jane, he is a villain.
We must tell him whether we ought to reveal to know Wickham's character. To have his errors made public might ruin him forever, and damage the reputation of poor Miss Darcy.
Yes, it ought not to be attempted. The letter was confidential, and Wickham will soon be gone with the regiment. We will say no more about it.
Was there anything else in the letter? About Mr. Bingley or Caroline?
No, not a word. I do not think that he will return to Netherfield. I'm sorry, Jane.
Do not be sorry. It helps me to hear you say it.
Lizzie, did you hear? The regiment is leaving the village. They're moving up to Brighton.
Yes, I heard. And I'm glad to hear it.
Glad? It's a tragedy. It's a catastrophe. Oh, I do so want Papa to take us there, Mamma. It would be such a delicious scheme, and would hardly cost anything at all. Mamma would like to go too, of all things. She's have a little sea bathing will set her up forever.
Oh, if one could but go to Brighton.
Can you picture it? Brighton, the streets teeming with officers, scores of them, all the white tents in their rows, and handsome young officers in dazzling red coats. And me, sitting there with 6, 10, or maybe more. Oh, it's like land.
I am longing to go, but Papa is so disagreeable he refuses to take us.
And Mary refuses to go.
Far be it for me to depreciate the pleasures of others. I'm fully in support of the Brighton scheme. I should be very happy indeed if we should all take your insufferable noise as far as possible from London.
And Pa will not even let us speak of the word Brighton in front of him.
Are you talking of Brighton? If I hear the word Brighton spoken but once, I shall not be held accountable for my actions.
See? Brothers, if you want Papa to convince him to take us to Brightby, you must wait until he is in a more malleable mood. Do you understand me?
Yes, Mamma. Oh, think what a miserable summer we shall have if we but stay here.
You will have plenty to do.
Well, that's easy for you to say, Lizzie, as you'll be on a holiday with Aunt and Uncle in Derbyshire. Will you go to where Mr. Wickham lives with that awful Mr. Darcy?
Pemberley's. I dare say I shall.
And what if you see Mr. Darcy there? Will you have one of your headaches and not go? Oh, what a holiday that shall be. Viewing the stately homes. Ooh la! A fine carpet. Ooh la! Some silk drapes. And a portrait painted in the Renaissance.
Thank you, Lydia. Mary, it's your turn.
I will defer my turn in favour of my sisters, as I am fully capable of finishing my own part.
Just as I remember it. Isn't it magnificent? The park must be 10 miles around at least. Would you say so, dear?
Sorry, dear?
That Pemberley Park must be 10 miles around at least.
I dare say rather more.
Oh, when I was a girl, I dreamed of being mistress of this place.
But I am honoured that you favoured me. But humble London Richard, the Amberley.
Oh, you. In any case, old Mr. Darcy would have been too old. But young Mr. Darcy would have been...
Just a twinkle in his father's eye, I'm sure. Ah, here's the housekeeper. Where's Liza got you, dear? Elizabeth is our niece. She's inclined to row.
She went down to the bridge, I think. Oh, here she comes.
Mrs. Reynolds will show us around the house. Carry on, Mrs. Reynolds.
Are you certain the family is away?
Mr. Darcy isn't due back until tomorrow with a group of friends. How is your headache?
Oh, it was only a small one. It's gone away completely. If you would like to come with us, sir. This is my master's favourite room, and the portraits are just as they were then. He was very fond of them. And this is a portrait of my master, Mrs. Darcy.
Is it a good likeness?
Oh, does the young lady know my master? A little. And do you not think him rather handsome, ma'am? Yes, very handsome. I'm sure I know none more handsome. And this portrait here is a larger portrait of Miss Darcy, recently done. What a lovely young lady. Oh, she is so handsome, miss, and so accomplished. She sings and plays all day long. This gentleman looks very much like someone you know. This is young Mr. Wickham. He is the son of my late Master Stewart. He has gone in the army now. He turned out really wild. He ran up all these debts which my master had to pay for. Forgive me, I should not speak about that to strangers, but I do not like that young man.
Your confidence is safe with us, Mrs. Reynolds.
Well, if that is the case, I will keep it a secret. When the house is shut and I'm on my own, I turn his face to the wall.
Is your master much at Pemberley throughout the year?
Not as much as I would like, sir.
But if he was married, you may see more of him.
Of course, but I don't know there is any good enough for him. Oh, it is very much to his credit if you think so. Oh, I only speak the truth. I have never had a cross word from him in my life, and I have known him since he was 4 years old. You will never meet a more kind-hearted and generous young man.
You wouldn't have such a master.
If I was to go through the world, I'm sure I would meet none better. Some people call him proud. They've never seen anything of it. To my mind, it's just because he doesn't rattle away like other young men. Would you like to come this way through to the left?
Miss Bennett. I was just looking for Mrs. Reynolds. How long have you been in Derbyshire?
A fortnight. My aunt is from London.
Yes.
You are not expected home until tomorrow.
I'm here now.
Yes.
When did you leave Longbourn?
A fortnight ago.
And your family was well when you left them?
Very well, thank you.
I'm glad to hear. Mrs. Reynolds, you say, is...
In the other room, with my aunt and uncle. They enjoy just touring the stately homes.
Do you enjoy it? Doing stately homes?
Oh, no, not at all.
Forgive me, Miss Elizabeth, but I must know. Did you receive my letter?
Yes.
And did you give any credit to its contents?
Your letter convinced me that certain prejudices I had towards you were unfounded.
I regret that some of the things I said may have caused you pain. Please tell me you burned the letter.
Think no more of the letter. My feelings on the subject are so...
And here we are back in the main hall.
Will you excuse us?
Oh, we must leave this place at once. Oh, why did we come here? If only I'd had my headache like I planned. Mr. Watson, please, I thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. This view has been most enlightening.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Miss Bennett, will you do me the honour of introducing me to your relations?
Mr. Darcy, may I introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Gardner? Aunt, uncle, this is Mr. Darcy.
Yes, well, sir.
We certainly did not expect to meet you, for we heard you were away.
We've toured so many homes, but this is by far the finest. Pemberley is it's a treasure to you and your family.
Well, I thank you, sir, but all credit must go to Mrs. Reynolds for her excellent housekeeping. She looks after us all very well. Mrs. Bennett. Mrs. Gardner. Miss Bennett tells me you lived at London.
I did, and my fondest memories are of that time there. Now we are in town, but this I think to be the most beautiful part of the country.
Is it as you remember it?
Oh, it is more perfect than my memories, although I will confess to you, sir, that every autumn my brother and I would go rambling on your property, and we poached a great quantity of berries. Now, whenever I taste them, I think of Derbyshire and of Pemberley.
Have you ever tasted them?
I never have.
Mrs. Reynolds will give you a pot of her preserves as a souvenir. Tell me, sir, do you fish?
I like nothing better.
There is excellent fishing in the street. I can supply you with tackle if you care to come tomorrow. And perhaps you'll stay for dinner. I miss the Bingley and sister coming to town. Miss Elizabeth Bennett, may I introduce you to my sister, Georgiana?
Miss Bennett, I've heard so much about you. I feel that I know you already. And I've heard that you are very accomplished. That you play both piano and harp. I play the piano a little, the harp hardly at all.
We will beg you to get us tomorrow, sister.
Oh dear, I will try my best, but I do apologise in advance.
And may I offer you some refreshments?
Oh yes, please, do stay. I'm going to the music room to see the new instrument my dear brother has bought me. Would you care to join me? I'm afraid we really must go.
Go and see Miss Darcy's music room, Eliza. We will wait. I'll run ahead and fetch the preserves. There is something a little stately in him that is not unbecoming. Why did Eliza say he was so disagreeable?
He is an unassuming young man, or one so wealthy.
From what we have seen of him, I find it very difficult to believe he could have been so cruel to poor Mr. Wickham?
Will 6 be too efficient, sir, at least for some?
No, indeed.
There is a map of the lodge. It is hidden, quite difficult to find. I'll provide breakfast. Until tomorrow.
Yes, they have gone on to Brighton. And what a loss that must be to your family, and indeed to yourself.
What a lovely young lady Miss Darcy is.
Yes, my brother is quite head over heels.
Success?
Your husband had excellent success. He made marathon table in an hour.
What a marvellous morning.
Charles, do come here so I can sketch your likeness.
Mr. Gardner, Miss Jane Bennet spoke very highly of you. How you take her to stay with you in London next spring.
Yes, Mr. Bingley. We rather thought he would see you at the start of the year. Jane was with us 3 months altogether.
3 months? I dare say I wish I had known. I was in town all that time, quite miserable.
You, miserable. I simply cannot picture it.
Oh, ask Darcy, I was quite out of sorts. From the time we glanced together at Netherfield. Above 8 months, 300 and something days to be precise. Yes, it's quite out of sorts.
Charles, do keep your mouth closed.
Tell me, how is your sister?
I dare say she has been counting down the days as you have, Mr. Bingley.
And is she still at Longbourn? For I heard she might have other attachments in the country by this time.
No, she's still at home.
Oh. Caroline, did you know Miss Bennet was in town for 3 months?
Yes, of course, I'm sure I told you, Charles.
You did not tell me. I surely would have visited her had I known.
So much going on, you must have just forgotten.
I would not have got. Darcy, did you know about this? Darcy!
Charles, do keep our voice down.
Thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. A letter from my sister. It must be lovely to have a sister. Do you share secrets and talk all through the night? Sometimes. With my sister Jane. You were so lucky. My brother is not much for talking, as you know, but he is trying constantly to improve. But please, go with your letter. I hope it's all good news.
You next, Darcy. How very ill Miss Eliza Bennet looks. She's grown so brown and coarse, I should not have recognised her.
I see no alteration other than a tan. No miraculous consequence of travelling in the summer.
I believe you thought her quite handsome this time.
Yes, that was when I first knew her.
And now?
I consider her one of the handsomest women of my acquaintance.
Aunt! Uncle! I'm sorry, I must leave you. I am not instant to lose. My sister Jane has written with the most dreadful news.
What has happened?
It cannot be concealed. My youngest sister Lydia has run away to Brighton, and she has thrown herself into the power of Mr. Wickham.
What has been done? What has been attempted to recover her?
My father has gone to look for them, but has found no trace. Jane writes and begs us to return home at once. Oh, this is all my fault. If only I'd been knew of his character.
You must go. We will not detain you. You must go.
will bring her out.
It's so happy to see a dead may be from Lydia. We may draw from it this useful lesson. The loss of virtue in female is irretrievable. That one false step involves her in endless ruin. That her reputation is no less brittle than it is feasible. And that she cannot be too much guarded in her behaviour towards the opposite sex.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Food for thought.
Mamma, Lizzie is here.
If we had been able to go to Brighton with all my family, this would not have happened. But I was overruled, as I always am. And now here's Mr. Bennet gone away, and I know he will fight Wickham, and then he will be killed. And what is to become of us? The Collinses will turn us out before his body is quite cold. And if your Uncle Gardner cannot force him to marry Lydia, we will be ruined.
Mamma, Father and Uncle will recover Lydia. Though you are right to be careful of words, you must take the time to say.
Write to your uncle at once, Elizabeth. Tell him above all things to stop Mr. Bennet from fighting. Do not let him fight. He will be killed, and we will be destitute.
I will write to him at once.
He must force Wickham to marry Lydia. And if they are not already married, he must force them to marry. Oh, and tell Mr. Bennet what a dreadful state I am in. Oh, such flutterings, oh, such tremblings, oh, such spasms in my side and pains in my head, oh, and flutterings of my heart.
I will entreat Father to return home at once.
Oh, but who will fight Wickham and force him to marry her? Oh dear, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Jane, had we been less secret, had we revealed what we knew, this could not have happened to poor Lydia. Stupid, stupid girl! They say Mr. Wickham has left debts all over the village. Do not tell Mamma, but they say his gambling debts in Brighton cost nearly £1,000.
Ew, Mr. Collins is here! Hide!
Mr. Collins, I can guess why you are here.
Miss Elizabeth, it would be a pleasure to see you under different circumstances.
I wish I could share the same sentiment.
Be assured that Mrs. Collins and myself sincerely sympathise with you in your present distress, which must be of the bitterest kind, as it proceeds from a cause which no time can remove.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. It is a distressing situation for us all.
I have related the entire affair to my patroness, Lady Catherine Burr. And she agrees that this false step will no doubt prove injurious to the fortunes of you and your unmarried sisters. As Lady Catherine herself condescendingly says, the death of your sister would have been a blessing in comparison to this.
I beg your pardon.
And this consideration leads me to reflect with some satisfaction on a certain event of last November. For had matters been otherwise, I might have been involved in all your present sorrow and disgrace.
Mr. Collins?
So I urge you, console yourself as much as possible. Throw off your unworthy sister from your affection forever, and leave her to reap the fruits of her own heinous offence.
Are you quite finished, Mr. Collins? And Mrs. Collins, do you have anything to add? Then please, sir, madam, leave my family in peace. Your advice is no advice, and your consolation is no comfort. Good evening.
Miss Bennet, I am not...
Be gone, Mr. Collins! Shoot! Off with you! Yes? What is it?
Sorry, Liza. Please tell me, he is my husband. It is my duty to stand by him, even when he is narrow-minded and foolish. Please tell me you understand.
And a good day to you too, Mrs. Collins. Have you news? How you feel?
Times of difficulty. One cannot see too little of one's neighbours. Oh, let me rest before I face your mother's nerves.
I can't imagine what you have suffered.
I'll say nothing of that. It is by my own doing and I ought to feel it. No, Lizzie. Let me once in my life feel how responsible I've been.
Papa, you are home.
I suppose you'll be the next to run away, Kitty.
I'm not going to run away, Papa. If I ever go to Brighton...
Brighton? I would not trust you as near as Eastbourne for £50. No, Kitty, I've at last learnt to be cautious and you shall fear it. No officers will be allowed to pass through the village. Balls will be strictly prohibited. And you are not to stir out of the house until you can prove that you can spend 10 minutes every day in a rational manner. Oh, no. Oh, come. Don't upset yourself. Don't make yourself unhappy. If you're a good girl, we'll revisit the matter in 10 years.
Uncle's carriage is here, and Wickham and Lydia are in it. I shall go and fetch Mamma so she may hear the news.
They are married. Oh, you see, we wrong to doubt his intentions. And let us see what Uncle has to say before we quit him. Uncle, is it true that they are married?
Only this morning. I have made the arrangements for your behalf, but I wouldn't find them acceptable.
They have been gone 2 weeks. Were they not married all this time?
I don't think he had any intention of marrying her. But we've brought it about through a financial arrangement. You need only assure Lydia of an equal share of £5,000 among your daughters, and also £100 a year during your life.
I'll be sorry to have a fool for a son.
What can you mean, Father?
Wickham's a fool if he takes Lydia for a farthing less than £10,000.
Can it be true then? He has married her.
Your aunt and I were witnesses to it. You will be taking up a new role with the new post at the regiment in Newcastle. I must write his captain a new letter for the departure. I beg the use of your library.
Of course, brother, and thank you for all you have done. It pains me to admit it, but I'm glad this business is over with so little inconvenience on my side. But I worry how much your aunt and uncle have laid out to bring it about.
Aunt and uncle are not rich, Father. They have done this at a great expense to their own comfort.
Or prevailing your aunt to disclose the sum, Elizabeth, so I can begin to repay them.
Do not worry, Father. I am sure this affair will pass and all be well again. You'll see. Mamma. Marriage with Lydia and Wickham. They are married.
Married? Where is my Lydia? Where is she? Such news! She is married? Oh. Where is she? Where is she?
Mamma, you must know we owe all this to Uncle Gardner. They know we could never repay them, and yet through their kindness and generosity, Wickham's debts are laid to rest and Lydia is married and provided for.
Well, it is all very right. Who should do it but her own uncle? Oh, a daughter married, only just 16. Oh, such news. I am so happy. Where is she? Where is my baby girl? Lydia?
Here, Mamma. Well, who will be the first to congratulate me? Kitty? Mary? Mamma?
Oh, how well! Oh, how well you look! Oh, marriage suits you. And only just 16? Oh, I knew you would be married first.
Isn't it funny? And Jane and Lizzie, well, past 20 when I went away. I had no intention of being married till I came back, though I thought it would be very much fun if I was.
Oh. Now tomorrow we will find your house of proper size and importance. Hay Park would do. Oh, if the Goldings would cut it. Or the great house at Stoke. No, if the drawing room were larger. And what about Ashworth? Oh no, Ashworth is too far off.
Mrs. Bennet, a word. Before you take any or all of these houses for your son and daughter, let us come to a right understanding. Into one house in this neighbourhood, they shall never have admittance.
Pray, which one?
This one.
What do you mean, Mr. Bennet?
And not a guinea will I give you to. Buy her dresses, hire servants, or china, or show any other token of your affection to mark the occasion.
Well, I do not comprehend you, sir. She cannot marry without new clothes. It would be a disgrace.
The only disgrace is the scandal into which this entire family is now implicated. It cannot be erased. Lydia's escapade has jeopardised the future happiness of your other, more deserving daughters.
Scandal? What do you mean by this?
Madam, not another word on the subject.
But, Mr. Bennet, I do...
Not another word!
It's Captain Wickham to join his regiment in Newcastle, Mamma.
Newcastle? In the north? They may as well be banished.
I'm sick to death of this folly.
Lizzie, have you admired my ring? Don't you envy me? I never gave you an account of my wedding, I believe.
I think there can be too little said on the subject.
But I must how I went down. You're so strange. Well, we were married at St. Clement's, and it was settled that we should be there by 11 o'clock. And then Uncle was called away on some business, and I was certainly late. But then I recollected afterwards if the wedding need not be put off, for Mr. Darcy might have done as well.
Mr. Darcy? Mr. Darcy was at your wedding?
Yes, he was to be there with Wickham, I believe. I really should not have said a word about it. Please do not tell Wickham or he will be mad at me. Kitty! I got a present for you in a carriage. It was such a pretty hat box, I was ashamed to throw it away.
May I speak with you, Aunt?
Of course, Lizzie, what is it?
I long to understand how a stranger such as Mr. Darcy came to be at Lydia's wedding.
What? Uncle and I thought you knew. We couldn't reveal it to your father, of course. We only went ahead with Mr. Darcy's plan because we thought you knew.
Knew what? Mr. Darcy's plan? What plan?
Can it be that you're truly ignorant of what has occurred? I'm utterly surprised. Mr. Darcy called on your uncle as soon as he arrived.
But why?
He had made his own inquiries and found out where your sister and Wickham were in hiding. He tried to convince Lydia to come away with him, but she would not, and he found out that Wickham had no intention of marrying her. He felt it was his duty to step forward and remedy an evil that he himself had brought about.
What evil?
That he had not made Wickham's worthlessness known. That he felt it was beneath his dignity to lay his private actions open to the world.
But how did he do it?
He paid Wickham to marry Lydia, and made all the arrangements, and settled Wickham's debts of over £2,000. He forced your uncle to take all the credit for the arrangements. We only went ahead with it because we knew he had another interest he wished to protect. There, I have told you everything.
But then we owe everything to Mr. Darcy.
There was nothing done that Mr. Darcy did not do himself. Now, Eliza, will you be very angry with me if I take this opportunity of saying what I was never bold enough to say before? How much I like him. He wants nothing more than a little liveliness that a wife may teach him. Oh, here comes Mr. Wickham. Shall I stay? Will there be bloodshed?
No, thank you, Aunt. I will be fine.
I'm sorry, am I interrupting your conversation?
Yes. But it has been so long since we've spoken, and I'm so anxious to hear all your news.
Ah yes, Miss Eliza, allow me to explain.
Please do. I long to understand how the happy circumstance of your marriage to my sister came about. Oh, it's not like you to be tongue-tied, Mr. Wickham. Or is it? It is so hard to tell what you are like. Another time, perhaps. Until next time, brother, I wish you every happiness.
How long will you be stationed in Newcastle, Mr. Wickham?
Oh, no, Lord knows, 2, 3 years perhaps?
2 or 3 years?
I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. Well.
Wickham! Wickham, where have you got to? I would like to fetch my dressing table from my room.
Daughter, you may remain in the garden. You are never to set foot in this house again.
But Papa? Mama? Well then, Wickham, you're just going to have to buy me a new dressing table. The old one was ugly in any sense. Goodbye, everybody.
It's time you're off. Come along, Mr. Wickham.
Oh, Miss Wickham, oh, how good that sounds. Look, I have goosebumps. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
What a valuable son-in-law. He simpers, he smirks, and he makes love to us all.
Oh, I cannot believe my darling Lydia has gone.
There. You must do your best to be strong, because I'm afraid there is more bad news. You must prepare to lose another daughter.
Another? Whatever can you mean?
On passing through the village on our way here, who do you think we met on his way to Netherfield? Mr. Bingley.
Mr. Bingley? Oh, Jane! Mr. Bingley, is he? Not that I care much about him. He means nothing to me. I can assure you that his return does not affect me with either pleasure or pain.
I wonder that he's bold enough to come without Mr. Darcy's permission.
Mr. Darcy is with him.
Mr. Darcy? I shall invite them both to dine tomorrow. Mr. Darcy has 10,000 a year. He is not the kind of man whom one can deny him anything. Oh, we must have 3 full courses for dinner. Oh, I shall fly at once to cook. Oh.
I am glad that he shall dine here, for then everyone will see that we meet only as common and indifferent acquaintances. Yes, very indifferent indeed. Lizzie, you cannot look at me that way. You cannot suspect me. Oh, it mortifies me. Jane, take care. You cannot think me so weak as to be in danger now. I think you're in as much danger of making him as much in love with you as ever.
What a perfect evening, don't you think, Mr. Bennet? Jane has never looked so beautiful. And now just look at them together, just as I had planned. The mouse sniffing at the cheese. Oh, the cheese! I forgot the cheese!
I could never be as happy as you. Until I had your goodness, I could never have your happiness. You see, it all turned out well in the end. I told you so. You did. And Mr. Bingley, am I to call you brother? I will be stern with you. Jane is the sweetest creature, and you must always make her laugh. If you do not, you will have to answer to me.
I shall make it my life's work to fulfill your expectations.
Did I miss it? Oh, please tell me I didn't miss it. not be so beautiful for a reason. Oh, 4,000 or 5,000 a year. He is the handsomest young man that ever lived. Oh, we must plan the wedding. Come along, you two, we must plan the wedding. Oh.
If he does not come to me, I will give him up forever. If he does not come to me, I will give him up forever. If he does not come. Oh, it's you.
What do you think of Jane's match, Lizzie? Is it a good one?
A very good match. Though isn't it funny how the pendulum of fortune swings? The whole town will be a buzz with the news of Jane's astonishing good luck. And yet, when Lydia ran away, we were all marked for misfortune.
But that is the purpose of our lives, to make sport for our neighbours, and to laugh at them in our turn. Lizzie,
Yes, Father.
will you promise me something?
Anything.
Jane has made a good match, and Bingley has sworn to look after your mother and sisters when I'm gone, so do not think it's your duty.
What are you trying to say, Father?
My child, spare me the grief for seeing you unable to respect your partner in life. I know your disposition, Lizzie. I know you could not be happy unless you truly esteemed and loved your husband, however wealthy he might be. So, do not marry without affection, my dear.
I promise. I will only marry a man that I truly love and respect with all my heart and soul.
In which case, he deserves you. I could not have parted you with you, my Lizzie, to anyone less worthy. Oh. Who is this coming?
Oh Lord, it's Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
Oh, what can she want at
I
this
have
hour?
no idea.
Oh.
I trust you are well, Miss Bennet.
Yes, thank you, I am. Lady Catherine, may I introduce you to my father, Mr.
I
Bennet?
desire to speak to your daughter.
Lady Catherine.
You know why I am here?
In truth, I cannot account for such an unexpected honour.
A report of the most alarming manner has reached me. I was told that not only was your sister about to be most advantageously married, that you, shortly afterwards, would be united to my very own nephew, Mr. Darcy. And whilst I know this to be a scandalous falsehood, I set forth once, so that it might be universally contradicted.
If such a rumour existed, surely you coming this far is merely a confirmation of it.
Miss Bennet, I insist on being satisfied. Has my nephew made you an offer of marriage?
Your ladyship has declared it impossible.
Impudent girl. My nephew and my daughter have been promised to each other since infancy. What have you got to say about that?
Only this. If he is engaged to her, you can have no reason to suppose he would make an offer to me.
If you willfully disobey me, I will sever all connections with my nephew.
That is a heavy misfortune indeed.
Incidents this will not be borne. My nephew and my daughter will be married, and the upstart pretensions of a young woman without family fortune or connections cannot be binded.
Mr. Darcy is a gentleman. I am a gentleman's daughter, so far we are equal. If my connections can mean nothing to your nephew, they can mean nothing to you.
Tell me once and for all, are you engaged to him?
I am not.
And do you promise never to enter into such an engagement?
I will make no such promise. Please leave at once.
I am by no means done. I am no stranger to the particulars of the infamous elopement of your younger sister. How the young man marrying her was a patched-up business at the expense of your uncle. Unfeeling, selfish girl. Are you determined to ruin my nephew? Are the shades of Pemberley to be thus polluted?
I am determined to act only in a manner which constitutes my own happiness. You have now insulted me in every way possible and can have nothing further to say. Good evening.
Do not imagine, Miss Bennet, that your ambitions will ever be gratified. You may depend upon it. Out of my way.
Say. Ah, Miss Elizabeth. Do you know where Darcy's got to?
No,
Did he say where he was going?
not a word. Amidst all the celebration, he just...
I see.
Indeed. He might have congratulated you, even if he disapproved of the match.
Disapproved? Without Darcy, I'd never got the courage to ask for Jane's hand. He was the one to be congratulated.
But he tried to keep you both apart in the first place.
Yes, he told me all about it.
He did?
The day we saw you at Pemberley, he really had it out. A real fisticuffs. But then he told me how wrong he had been, and that he was sorry. And I forgave him. That's about it, really.
God bless you, Mr. Bingley.
God bless you, sister. May I call you sister? Good night.
Good night. Before we go any further, please allow me to thank you for your unexampled kindness toward my family and your compassion toward poor Lydia. I've been so anxious to tell you. On behalf of my family...
Family owes me nothing. I thought only of you.
You left tonight without a word. Thought maybe I'd offended you.
I'm afraid I lost my nerve.
That must be an unfamiliar sensation for you, Mr. Darcy.
Yes. No doubt I should get used to it now that I'm probably hungry.
Humble.
I shall never forget the words you said. And you behaved in a gentlemanlike manner. How that phrase has tortured me.
So many things that day that I regret and now know to be false, and other things...
I am the last man in the world who would ever prevail upon crown.
Yes.
There's no conceivable way in which I might offer you my hand but compel you to do so.
Something like that, yes. Things that I felt to be true up until the moment I said them aloud.
You're too generous to try to live. My wishes are unchanged. One word from you on the subject will silence me forever.
The subject on which you speak is love. I beg you do not be silent on my account.
You have conquered me, Miss Bennet. With your beauty, your wit, your intelligence, your compassion, stone by stone, you dismounted the walls and fortress I built around my heart. I can no longer hide my emotions. I stand here, in the open, unguarded, at your mercy. I love you! I love you. I am your captive. I beg you, release me from my suspense.
Mr. Darcy, might it help you to put your desires into the form of a question?
Dearest, loveliest Elizabeth, it would do me a great honour to become my wife.
Yes, Mr. Darcy, yes.
Was that sufficiently gentlemanlike?